Good morning, everybody. Hey guys, before we get started, I do ask you do you see these names and stuff that's going to be going on the screen? These are lost, stolen, abandoned, hurt, kidnapped children. They are missing, and they've been missing for a while now, a few years. Please go look up one of their names. Find their story, find the pictures of them, share that one child, just one. If everybody did one child, do you know how many kids' faces, names, and stories we could get out there every day? I'm just asking, guys. I'm not asking for you to subscribe. I'm not asking for you to like. None of that. I'm asking for you to take and pick one child. Even if you're not a creator, if you're just a viewer, that still means that you have some kind of a social platform, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, it doesn't matter. Pick one kid, one name, one story, one innocent face, and get it out there. That's all I'm asking. Now, to get on with the video today. First of all, I don't want anybody coming at me if you disagree with this, and I can't guarantee how long or how short this video is going to be because I'm going to be reading a report. But the point being is that a friend of mine who deals with autism daily and has for years says that she sees the signs of autism in Candace. No, nobody is trying to make excuses for Candace. If and when it is proven that Candace knew about or had something to do with Summers' disappearance, then we totally agree. She, along with anybody else and everybody else that was involved, needs to be buried under the jail. But until we get some facts and some evidence and law enforcement comes out with a report, something, it's our job to try to figure out, if we can't figure out what happened to her, what caused it, let's look and if we can't figure out what happened to her or who did what, let's see if we can't figure out what led up to this happening, whether it was an accident, whether it was bad parenting, whether it was evil. Let's see if we can't figure it out together, guys. Now, as I said, the friend of mine seems to think that autism could be a factor in this. Undiagnosed, of course, but I've read over this. I've read over a lot of it. And there are key factors that signs that Candace does show. And if you all will just listen, don't click off the video. Please just watch till the end and hear us through, okay? And then you make up your own mind. And then you can leave a comment below whether you believe that this could be a factor in what happened to Summer or not. I mean, if you took a normal, like a child or a teenager who has severe autism or even slight autism, and they really did something bad or did something wrong, or they just didn't show emotion, you wouldn't immediately attack that person or that child, that teenager. You would say, there's a problem here, and we have to consider that problem before we go overboard with our emotions towards them. That's all I'm saying is take a look at this. Tell me if you see the signs of this in Candace. And like I said, I'm not making excuses for her. I'm not wanting anybody to let her off the hook if she is responsible. I'm just saying, consider. I mean, there was so many other things wrong with her when she was a baby. Could this have went undiagnosed for so long? Okay, listen up, guys, okay? 10 key signs of autism in women: sensory, sensitivity, camouflaging, and more. Posted April 29, 2021. Reviewed by Devon Fry. The basics. What is autism? Find a therapist to help with autism. Key points. Male and female autism share some similarities, but overall, women with autism tend to present differently than men. Symptoms that may present differently in women include social difficulties, emotional regulation issues, and the nature of intense interest. Understanding that autism can manifest differently in women and seeking an accurate diagnosis may lead to better quality of life. And then it, states the source. Women with autism tend to present differently than men, a fact which has often led to misdiagnosis and underdiagnosis. As a result, women who have autism and don't receive a diagnosis tend to judge themselves harshly for finding life difficult. What's more, mental health issues are common in women with autism. In contrast, women who do receive a diagnosis often find that it has a positive impact on their confidence and self esteem. They may even become advocates or mentors for other women with autism. Receiving diagnosis can also help ensure that they receive the right kind of support and access any resources available. Any woman who has reached the point of wondering whether or not she has autism may find it hard to find definitive information, given the fact that autism has predominantly been viewed as a male condition. If she's experiencing many of these symptoms, however, it might point towards a diagnosis of autism. In my book, I explore the difficulties in securing a diagnosis and coming to terms with having autism. 1. Social difficulties. One of the main reasons women begin to wonder whether they have autism is a lifetime of social difficulties. Autism spectrum disorder is a developmental disorder, which means that people are born with autism, although it may not be obvious until later in life. Women with autism often find it difficult to read and respond to social cues. Many women navigate this difficulty by creating social checklists and learning how to respond to people in socially appropriate ways. They often feel socially anxious, remnant of their social interactions, and may end up feeling left out or lonely, despite their best efforts to be sociable. While autistic women may interact well in one-to-one situations, they often find it very hard to be in groups and may feel exhausted after too much social interaction. 2. Sensory sensitivity. People with autism experience the world in a different way than neurotypical people, and many women with autism experience intense sensory sensitivity. They may have a heightened sense of awareness when it comes to smells, lights, sounds, and touch. For someone with autism, it's not just a matter of not liking certain things, it's a sense of being unable to tolerate them. My clients have described being unable to sleep if people are breathing in the same room, having to leave a rail carriage because someone is eating, being unable to cross the roads or drive due to sensory overload, and being unable to go to shopping malls because of the lights, sounds, and crowds. 3. Executive function. Many women with autism experience problems with executive function, a set of skills that involves working memory, flexible thinking, and self-control. People with executive function problems might find it hard to organize themselves, finish tasks, and maintain emotional control, whether in the workplace or at home. It can be hard for women to complete tasks, such as completing tasks at work, which are deemed less interesting, keeping clean house, maintaining healthy habits, or carrying out daily tasks such as showering and eating breakfast. Sound familiar, guys? 4. Obsessive interests. Both men and women with autism tend to have specialized, intense interests. People with autism display what if then thinking and often want to get to the bottom of or how something works. They may want to know every single fact about their interest. While boys and men's interests often focus on specific objects or things, women often display an intense interest in a wider range of subjects, including how the mind works or people, particularly romantic partners, crushes, or celebrities. Many women with autism are skilled researchers and may gravitate toward careers or hobbies which require a high level of intense focus. 5. Camouflaging. Autistic women tend to have a greater desire to be sociable than autistic men and spend a considerable amount of time and energy in masking or camouflaging their differences in order to pass as normal. Although neurotypicals of both genders, and autistic men also camouflage. Women with autism tend to do so to a far higher degree. 6. Sleep issues. Many women with autism experience difficulty sleeping. Often this is caused by sensory issues, including a high sensitivity to noise at night and problems feeling comfortable. The presence of another person can exacerbate sleep issues. 7. Difficulties with eye contact. Making eye contact can be extremely challenging for people with autism. Women in particular often become skilled at forcing themselves to make eye contact. If they do this enough, it may start to feel more natural to them. Thus, a woman with autism may be okay at making eye contact because she's learned to do so. But if it feels unnatural or hard, it could potentially be a sign of autism. Number 8, emotional regulation issues and meltdowns. Women with autism often have problems with emotional regulation. Research has shown that there is a poor connection between the frontal cortex and the amygdala, I can't pronounce that word, guys, sorry, in people with autism. Put simply, the whatever it is can be thought of as an emotion center in our brain, as it's part of our limbic system and our mammalian brain. The frontal cortex can be thought of as our thinking brain, the more rational part of our brain which makes judgments. Because of the poor connection between the two areas, women with autism may find it hard to rationalize situations and stay in control. Many describe having meltdowns, extreme emotional reactions to situations that might result in losing their temper, crying, or going into shutdown mode. Does that sound familiar? I mean, look at her on the Dr. Phil show. Okay, number 9, stimming. Stimming is short for self-stimulating behavior. Refers to repetitive behaviors. The most obvious behaviors we associate with autism are rocking, hand flapping, repetition of words or phrases, and rocking or spinning. However, women with autism may display other stimming behaviors such as skin picking, feet rubbing, pacing, or hair twirling. People with autism tend to stim more than other people and may not be aware of their behaviors. It is thought that stimming is a self-regulation tool. 10. Anxiety and depression. Anxiety and depression are not universal symptoms of autism, but because life is difficult for many women with autism, it is common for them to experience mental health issues like anxiety, depression, or problems with addiction. Again, sound familiar? There's also a far higher than average rate of suicidality in women with autism, which appears to be related to the degree of camouflaging they engage in. Though their autism goes undiagnosed, it is more likely that they will receive a formal diagnosis for anxiety, depression, or other mental health issues. Anyone who identified with the above symptoms should seek out professional help. Autism displays similar symptoms to other conditions, and a formal diagnosis can help establish whether or not autism may be at play. To find a therapist near you, visit the Psychology Today therapy directory. And then here's the references of where they got their information from when they wrote the report. Social communication and interaction symptoms. Autistic children and adults often have difficulty connecting with others. This can result in trusted source in a range of symptoms such as inability to look at or listen to people, no response to their name, resistance to touching, a preference for being alone, inappropriate or no facial gestures, inability to start a conversation or keep one going, excessive talk about a favorite subject without giving attention to the reaction of others, speech problems or unusual speech patterns, inability to express emotions or recognize them in others, trouble recognizing simple social cues, difficulty following simple directions, inability to predict someone's response or reaction, inappropriate social interactions, inability to recognize nonverbal forms of communication. Now, you cannot tell me that every one of those don't fit Candace. I mean, we know. We've seen it. We've seen it, guys. Girls with autism look, now this has got more to do with the facial features, guys, okay? And this is almost over, but I want y'all to listen to this. So many people out there have said that Candace looks more manly, Candace looks butch, Candace looks this, that, the other. And this may explain why. If she is autistic, girls with autism look masculine. Studies show lending support to extreme male brain theory by Jessica Berger, I guess, on 9/15/2017. A new study suggests that boys and girls with autism have facial features that are characteristically more male than female. A wider forehead and narrower midface are among several of the distinguishing traits. The findings published in scientific reports could provide evidence for a controversial theory that sees autism as the result of an extreme male brain. Many conditions associated with brain development procedure characteristic physical traits, and researchers from the University of Western Australia wondered if that tendency extended to the autism spectrum. They conducted a close analysis of facial comparisons of 54 autistic and 54 non-autistic boys, as well as 20 autistic and 60 non-autistic girls. They chose to focus on preadolescent children based on the established evidence that sex hormone levels rise in puberty, giving way to normal changes in physical attributes, including those in the face. Focusing on the younger years meant whatever features they spotted would be more likely due to something other than aging. They closely examined the faces of the study participants for 11 facial features typically associated with a person's sex. The researchers found distinct facial similarities in boys and girls with autism compared to those in controlled groups. These included differences in the width of the alar base, which is the nostrils, height of the nose and upper lip, forehead width and height, right upper cheek height, and other stubble sub. Oh Lord, I can't speak today. Facial differences, okay? In all. The participants with autism appeared closer to what's typically characterized as a male face. Other findings were in line with similar studies that have defined the autistic facial phenotype as an increased height and mouth width and decreased mid-face height. So guys, whether you want to believe it or whether you don't, if there are any of Candace's friends out there that are listening, or you care about Candace, whether you're a friend or not, and we want to find out the reason behind Summer being missing, please try to encourage her to go and be tested. Or, I mean, if there's enough of us out here, maybe she'll understand that she needs to go get tested if we all agree. But I do specifically see different attributes in her behavior, in her mannerisms, in her facial features, all of it, that says that she could technically be on the lower end of the autism spectrum. And I mean, I have to agree with my friend discovering the truth. She is the one that has, put this out there. She has tried to tell everybody for a while now, and nobody will listen. And I finally had told her, hey, yeah, we'll do a video about it. But you guys tell me what you think. Nobody's trying to criticize, put down, bash, or harm Candace in any kind of way with this information. On the complete opposite. If she is undiagnosed with autism, whether she had anything to do with Summers' disappearance or not, it needs to be diagnosed. But if she does have, and that would explain a lot about how she doesn't seem to cry, she's not very sociably, accepted by the world. Obviously, we don't think she talks about the right thing. We don't think she cries enough. We don't think she answers questions the correct way. She's more childlike. Everybody has said that. She's, like her brain has stopped at 14, 15 years old. The facial features, the way she carries herself, this would explain all of it, guys. And no, I'm not saying this would give an excuse if she was involved in Summer's disappearance, but at least it would give us more insight into if she's guilty, where it's coming from. You get it? You understand? Anyways, guys, hopefully I will see you later today, and if not, I'll see you on a video tomorrow. Y'all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to leave the comments and tell me what you think about this. Don't forget to go and pick a name from that list and find the information and put it out on some kind of social platform and just help get these kids' names, faces, and stories out there, guys. That's all I ask. And I'll see you later.